Hey guys, welcome to another edition of the Football View. I'm AJ, and what a weekend of football we've had again. Let's get stuck into the game I felt was the game of the week, which was Manchester City versus Chelsea. From the first minute to the last minute, Man City were all over Chelsea. And for Mourinho to say that the result was a fake result and that Chelsea deserved more out of the game, I felt he must have been on crack or something, because from the game I saw, Man City could have had more goals. They were no threat at all to Manchester City's defence. Chelsea, Mangala and company were on point. They had Diego Costa in their back pockets. He couldn't do nothing. You could tell he was a frustrated figure up front, even getting angry with Fernandinho, which I felt was not a deliberate attempt to elbow him at the back of the head, but it was just a build-up of frustration from Costa because he was not getting the right service. Man City look like a team that are hungry, a team that are determined, are on a mission to get their title back. And I wouldn't be surprised if they're there in the last days of the season fighting for the title. I still believe Chelsea are the favourites to win the league. They are the champions from last season, and it's only 2 games in, and a lot can happen. As we know in this sport of football, a lot can change. But let's get talking about Man City's local rivals, Manchester United. They had another boring game. First Friday night football, everyone's pumped up. Everyone's thinking, yeah, we're going to get an entertaining game. But it was just another boring game. The only good point was Adnan Januzaj's goal, which was a very well taken goal. You know, fake shot. Mickey Richards sliding out of the pitch, and then he just curled it in. It took a deflection, but went in. A guy that, you know, has been under the radar, and talks about him leaving the club, but he really showed that he really wants it. But there's nothing negative to talk about United. Defensively, I felt that their line was on point, and there was a lot of talk about Daley Blind being at the back. A lot of people weren't happy about that, but he has looked a real menace in defence, like organising that defence. That's what I've been watching him talking. I've really been impressed with him at the back. But the person I want to talk about is Wayne Rooney. Wayne Rooney has had another shocker. I know it's only 2 games, but he's been poor. People are saying that since he's got the armband, you know, he's been a bit, you know, he doesn't really, he knows that his place isn't under threat. Van Gaal said he's the #1 striker, and to be honest, you got Hernandez and James Wilson, or what some people call James Wilson, that they're not really putting that much pressure on him. So Rooney is a bit, you know, he's a bit comfortable. So United need to bring in another quality striker that can put pressure on Wayne Rooney to make him know that, you know what, you need to step up your game or you're going to lose your spot. Someone to put pressure on him so he can up his game. Because I believe if United can get Pedro as well and can give Rooney that service and maybe another quality striker to put pressure on him, then we could probably see the best out of Rooney. And to be honest, why should United fans be upset? They've got a clean sheet, another clean sheet. And talking about strikers, Everton were amazing against Southampton. I didn't give them any chance against Southampton. I thought Southampton were going to beat them, to be honest with you. Southampton at home at St Mary's, they had one of the best defensive records. But Romelu Lukaku went into beast mode. My days. The guy ripped that Southampton defence. He scored with his head. He scored with his feet. He was quick. He was strong. He looked fitter than last season. He looked like a man on a mission. And that's the type of striker that could put pressure on Wayne Rooney's play. If United were looking into a striker like him, he was amazing. Even Ross Barkley upped his game from last season because he only scored 2 goals the whole of last season. And this year, in 2 games, he scored 2 goals. But back to Romelu Lukaku, he was amazing. He had everything. He was terrorising that Southampton defence. I was just amazed by how well Romelu Lukaku played. After Everton's poor season last season, and considering they had a poor start against Watford in a 2-2 draw, but they really upped their game and upped their level this season. This match, I mean. But Southampton, they still got a lot of work to do. I don't think they're going to get relegated. They still got a lot of work to do. Remember, they got a bit of injury. They got Jordi Clasie and Coker injured. And I think if those two can come back into that team, they can do wonders. And a team I want to go into a team that are unbeaten at the moment, who have carried on their form from last season. A team that we thought were going to get relegated. They had no chance, especially after the sacking of Pearson and the hiring of the Tinkerman, Claudio Ranieri. They continue their form. Even though against West Ham did have a few chances, but Leicester looked like they were in control. They had good possession of the ball, I felt, Leicester. And they look a real threat. They won't stay unbeaten. Let's not get carried away. They won't stay unbeaten the whole season. But they're looking a good team, a good unit. That defensive line they're playing is very good. Very good players in that team. Vardy, an unspoken player. No one knew about him. He used to play non-league football. He is playing very well, very good. And Mahrez, he is looking a real threat. Albrighton resurrecting his career with Leicester, thinking that his career was over when he was at Aston Villa, but he resurrected it with Leicester. They're looking a good team. I still think they're relegation candidates, but at the start of the season, they are looking very good. A match I want to get stuck onto is a team that recently got promoted. I don't want to talk too much about it because it's Watford. Watford West Brom. That game was boring as hell. 0-0. I don't want to get stuck into it. Mourinho had a chance, headed it wide. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Let's not get stuck into that game. That was a very boring. It was dull. It was dead. Let's get stuck into a team that Mourinho's been linked with in the whole month, which is Tottenham. Tottenham doing the Tottenham against Stoke. You know what doing a Tottenham is. You know, you have a lead, you lose it, you dominate for some parts, and you just lose concentration. For me, doing a Tottenham is you leave your house without your keys, you get locked out. Oh yeah, you realised, oh, I left my keys in my house. Yeah, that's doing a Tottenham to me. They just lose their senses. They had control of the game, 2-0 up. They scored some good goals. Dyer with a nice header, Chadley with a nice finish. But you still felt that Stoke were in that game. Mami Biram Diouf having chances. Lloris making some worldies. Maybe not worldies, but he was making some good saves, keeping Tottenham in the game. But you always felt that, Stoke could get something out of that game. But because we need to remember, this is not the Stoke under Tony Pulis where it was just long balls, long throw-ins. This is a different team. Mark Hughes is getting them playing good football now. And if they carry on, they can actually finish higher than they did last season. But Tottenham, they really need to sort themselves out. They really need to hurry up and get a striker to help partner Harry Kane. Because, again, they had chances, but they didn't finish them. Oh my gosh, Tottenham. They really need to up their game. A team talking about chances, Sunderland versus Norwich. Norwich last week had a lot of chances against Crystal Palace, but just couldn't take them. Because we know in the Premier League, if you do not take your chances, you won't get far in this league. And they finally took their chances against a deflated Sunderland team. We talk about this every year about Sunderland. They're always relegation candidates. And again, they just didn't look like they were in the game. From the first whistle to the final whistle, Norwich were all over them. Like, you could tell it was like they just didn't want to be there. The fans left up before it even got to half time. You could just tell the whole atmosphere around this stadium is just like it's another season. If they don't be careful, Sunderland, they will get relegated because they've been in that deep end so many times these past few years, up and near that relegation zone. And if they don't be careful, they're gonna get relegated. Because I don't think no one wants to play for a team like them. They don't look like a team that that have aspirations to go far. And that leads me to their rivals. Their Tyneside rivals, Newcastle. I just want to talk about Swansea versus Newcastle. Montero is a beast. Montero ripped them apart. Montero is a guy that I believe can play in the top 14. He looked amazing. He was ripping them apart. Swansea, I think they're dark horses in this league. I think they could do a Southampton last year. What Southampton done last year. I think Swansea are a team to watch this year. I really believe that. They just look so good. Like the way they play, they've kept that good style of football, keeping the ball moving about. They're still looking good, and I'm really enjoying watching their football. Newcastle again, buying all these players. Okay, they didn't buy as many as last year, but buying all these players like from foreign countries, and they're still not doing well. Like, take the risk, take Premier League proven players into your team. You know, like this, like Charlie Austin, a striker like Charlie Austin could do wonders for their team, I believe. And Newcastle with Steve McCarron, he's got Premier League experience. He's been at the top before, and I think they should be doing a lot better. And then this week there's been a lot of controversy as well, and that brings me to the Crystal Palace Arsenal game. Arsenal, I don't want to talk too much about the controversial decision, but Arsenal again showing grit and determination. They did dominate that game, but at times you felt Crystal Palace could get something out of the game. But the talking point I want to talk about is Coquelin, aka the Cock Block. He is very, very lucky. Very, very lucky. I felt he should have been red carded. Referee gave him so many chances, and that was the turning point. Because if Arsenal were down to 10 men, I think it would have either ended in a draw or Crystal Palace would have nicked that game. Very lucky. But Arsene Wenger knew that Coquelin, aka the Cock Block, got away with murder there. And he saw that before he got red carded, he had to take him off. And it did help them. And they did carry on. They grinded out that result. And in this Premier League, you don't have to play the best football. You don't have to play classy football, like they usually do. You sometimes have to grind out results, play nasty to get out result. And they did do that. So I believe Arsenal are title contenders if they can get a striker and a defender and I think a holding midfielder next to Coquelin. aka the Cock Block. I mean, I think they can go far this season. Trust me when I say Arsenal, they can do something. And finally, Monday Night Football, Bournemouth going to Anfield. We all knew Bournemouth were going to get nothing. But again, this new offside rule, to be honest with you, is very confusing. What they need to realise, football has evolved over the year. It's not as slow as it used to be. It's more quicker. It's a faster tempo. Do you know what I mean? And we can't expect the linesman to catch, to see everything that's going on. And that brings me to Benteke's goal. I don't want to take away Benteke's goal. I'm happy that he got his first goal because I think he's going to bang in the goals for Liverpool this season. I don't think they'll get into the top 4, but I think he will bang in some goals for them this season. This offside rule talks about if a player is interfering with play, then it's an offside. And in that case, Coutinho was interfering. He made an attempt to get to make contact with that ball, even though he missed it and take it. That's an offside in this new rule. But let's not talk about it. That didn't damper Bournemouth's spirits because they carried on. They kept on pushing and pushing, and they had decisions that went against them. Like, it was obvious that their goal shouldn't have been disallowed. Lovren, he was very smart. Very smart. He was off balance. He was on the wrong side of the guy, headed it in, but got disallowed because they felt that the officials felt that it was a foul on Lovren. Very smart defending by Lovren by fooling the official. But even at that, Bournemouth was still going, still push. I felt Bournemouth in the first half, Liverpool were the better side. Let's not say anything. But towards the end of the game, Bournemouth started to show glimpses that they could do well, and that's what I need to tell you. Like, these new teams that are getting promoted, they need to realise in this Premier League, this is not the Championship, where you can get 4 or 5 chances and you can find a score. In the Premier League, if you do not take your chances, you will get burnt, and that's what's just shown. You can play so well in the Premier League, but if you don't take your chances, you will lose, and that's how you get dragged into the relegation zone. Like, I still believe that the 3 teams that come up will go down. Well, who knows? Bournemouth, as the season progresses, they might learn from their mistakes. But Liverpool, they've got a lot to improve because if you're gonna take free kicks like what James Milner took, you're not gonna get far. You're not gonna challenge for the top 4. Can I just say, James Milner's free kick, my man, was shite. What? That you call that training answer? That was shite. Absolute shite. But I'm looking forward to another weekend of football. And hopefully I will put out a video, maybe tomorrow on Thursday, about the transfer dealings going on this week, because there is a lot to talk about. And also, when the transfer window closes, hopefully I will give you guys my predictions of who's going to win the league, the FA Cup, the Carling Cup, the trophy that teams love to fight for all across Europe, what makes your history, the Champions League, and also the domestic leagues across Europe and the top European leagues. Thanks again, guys, for watching this video. Please like, subscribe to my channel. I'm your boy AJ. Thanks for watching. Peace out.